How many of us are over 50 or quickly heading that way? I remember when I turned 50, I decided, well, I guess it's time to admit my age, because I never wanted to talk about that before. I remember I was doing a seminar one time, and I said, well, you know, at 29, this or that. And my daughter came to me afterwards. She says, Mom, it's time to stop saying you're 29. I'm 29. Well, we're all going to be 50 and over at some point, right? So let's talk about the things that change, things, and it is interesting, for whatever reason, 50 does seem to be an age that we begin to think differently. And I can't tell you how many people I've talked to who are in their 40s saying, wow, I'm getting old. But guess what? It's exactly what I felt when I was in my 40s. And the day I turned 50, I said, well, I'm really old now. I guess it's time to admit my age. So let's just talk about some things that we can do, and stressors. If you've heard me before, you know I like to talk about things to reduce stress in our life, things that cause stress. By the way, turning 50 sometimes is stressful. So we need to make it fun. We need to make it fun. We need to enjoy it because things will happen to the body. You know, aging does change the body. It often changes the mind. We want to make sure that we do everything in our power to make those changes more positive. Stay as happy as you can. Stay at a point where you're really enjoying life. And most frequently, at that age, we don't have all the same stressors that we had when we were younger. So let's look at some things that we can do. Let's see how we can have a vibrant, fulfilling, and after 50, just full of new opportunities. Take advantage of all of that and focus on health, because you may notice that the health will start to decline, it seems, more quickly after that. So relationships, hobbies, travel. That was one of the things I loved, was the travel part. So let's prioritize, though, and this is what my whole life has been trying to do and share with as many people as I could, is to prioritize our health and wellness so that we can enjoy those years after 50 better. How do we do that? One of the things, of course, is regular exercise. We already know that eating properly is going to be good, but regular exercise. Now, it doesn't mean it has to be going to the gym, although that's very good. And if you're able to do that, you can do that. It's very healthy, and it also helps with the whole mental aspect of your life after 50. But walking, swimming, yoga, strength training, even if it's, it doesn't have to be like a bodybuilder, but anything that you can do to just keep your strength very good. It helps to improve your muscle mass. It just helps you to not just look better, but it helps you to feel better. It improves your balance. You may find that some of those things start to change a little bit after the age of 50. So let's talk about the things that will give you the better health and wellness. And I did mention earlier, diet. I don't mean go on a diet, well, if you have to or you need to, but your diet should be rich again in your fruits, your vegetables. Make sure you get your lean proteins, whole grains. I highly doubt that there's anybody who couldn't improve their level of health without supplementation. And that's a big one, because there's information coming at us from all directions. I would just like to mention that in the area of supplementation, try to make sure that you get the purest products that you can. Make sure they don't have any additional, like the soy or we all have all of these things that we try to avoid. GMO. Make sure that the things that you eat and in your nutrition, that you're keeping them free of toxic substances so that the cells don't have to fight off more, again, stressors in the body by what you put in there. Make sure that you're getting your health checks. Get your blood work periodically. Get your health checkup depending on what your issues are, if you have any. The doctor you're working with. I always like to make sure I got a full checkup at least once a year. And in my area, people would say, well, why are you going to a doctor? When you are feeling good, you don't have any health issues that you are aware of. I go to a doctor to make sure I get the tests done, get your blood work, see where your numbers are. Sometimes you might be really shocked at deficiencies that you have that you can start working on so that you can have a longer, healthier, and more productive life. So I go get those tests done, and I encourage you to do that to see where you are. Do it once a year. Get all of your basic things done and let your doctor advise you what other tests you may need, because that too can help you to have a longer, healthier, and more productive life. I know that that's what actually started me, and of course I was a lot younger when I started having health issues, which is why I do this today. So it was going to a doctor, finding out the why behind the way I was feeling, and then learning how to improve my health based on whatever the conditions were that I was dealing with. So I've always encouraged all of my patients and everyone to be sure to go get your blood test. Let's take a look at that. I'd like to mention one other thing relative to blood tests. Oftentimes you have three areas. You have normal, below, and above. Average and below and above. What I like to do is look at the direction that those tests are headed. Look at is it something that's starting to go to that overly or that high line, or that it's too low? When we see that things are headed in the wrong direction, start working on it then. Don't wait until it is now a problem. Let's work on it before it becomes a problem. So in this life over 50, make sure that you keep your health up. Stay healthy. Get your good foods in you. Take your nutrients. Find out where your health weaknesses are and work to build that up. Sometimes you're not eating the foods in your diet to keep all the nutrients that are cellular healthy. Get extra nutrients, extra vitamins, supplement to keep your health up. And one other thing that would be really, really helpful for us over 50, don't feel that you're old and it's just time to sit there and watch TV, read a book. Oh, reading books are good, by the way. But get out, not only the exercise, but it's really a great time in life now to look for maybe some new hobbies, look for some new passions, things you may have always wished you could do and too busy raising families and working. Maybe this would be a good time in life to look at going into some of those hobbies that you always wished you could before. It could be maybe surprise yourself. Take an art class. Take a sewing class. Take a cooking class. That's always good, especially if you can get into one of those where it helps you to cook with highly nutritious ways, with making sure that you're getting all the cooking with the right oils, making sure that you're getting the best of the foods in the foods that you eat. And sometimes you can eat better by cooking them yourselves anyway. So in your 50s and beyond there, it's a great time to rediscover any old interest or even try some new ones. You'll be developing new friends. And maybe at that point, being with new friends, you'll develop additional interests that you may never had before. If you had dreams before of doing things, now's the time to start investigating those possibilities. Learning whatever new skills that may be of interest to you. Enrich your life, as well as it's going to make you feel really, really great about your new accomplishments. So just because you're over 50, you still have a lot of years ahead of you. And remember, that can be improved. You can improve the productive years of your life by keeping in mind, do the best that you possibly can, and of course, evaluate, study, and learn these ways with paying attention to the foods you eat, the air you breathe, the water you drink, and the thoughts you think.